Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Tali's Motivation. I am so excited because it's actually been so long since I've sat down and just like talked about whatever I want, which is my favorite thing to do ever. Um, and I keep being reminded about my podcast because it's on my resume. I talk about it on my college apps, everything like that. But it's been so long since I've actually like sat down and just like done a video and talked. So I have a lot to talk about, but I feel like the main thing I'm going to talk about today is things that no one talks about because all throughout senior year, it's been so hard for me and no one else has talked about it. So even though I know I'm not in it alone, it's definitely felt like that at times. So I just want to talk about it because I feel like everyone likes to pretend that they have it all together and their life is great. And it really sucks because then sometimes you're like, okay, like is anyone else going through this or is this like just me? So, I guess this video is going to be really helpful for like juniors or people who are going to be seniors next year or just people who have felt this all year and no one's talked about it. So, I'm going to be the person to talk about it. Okay. First of all, first day of school. I go to school, I come home. I'm like, okay, college, career, my future immediately. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's what someone said. I don't know if it's just that the teachers, every single teacher was like, okay, like first last day of school or like last first day of school or okay, like senior year, like just this huge deal being made about it. I don't know if it was that or people talking about it or asking about college, but I just remember in August. It's the first day of school, and I'm already like, oh my gosh, like I'm not excited to be a senior. I remember like making TikToks and videos like, this sucks. Why are we being forced to grow up so fast? I'm 17. I don't have my life together. And I guess just like right when senior year starts, like, okay, who's ready? Like, we're graduating. So that was a lot for me. I definitely, the beginning of the year was a really hard for me, especially August. And then yeah, so that happened and I just really struggled with that. I was like, I don't know what I want to do. And I'll get more into this later, but this whole year I didn't want to go to college. And so that was another battle because obviously my parents are like, go to college, whatever. You're going, like, not a choice, not an option. Like, you're going to be cut off and kicked out. If you don't go, then like you can pay for yourself, just like the whole thing, all their arguments, whatever. But the thing is, it started with my parents and I being like, okay, I'm not going to college. And like, I could deal with their opinion and like they're my parents. I respect them a lot. I know what they want, what's best for me, and I want what's best for me. So obviously, I take their opinions into consideration and they're normally right about almost everything. But then after it was just my parents, then it was my peers, then it was my teachers, then it was my family friends, then it was my aunts and uncles and cousins, and then it was just random people who just like know my parents and asked me, who knows? So that's the thing, right? Like it starts with like your parents and like, okay, like college, and you're like, oh my gosh, like it's the first day of school, like relax. But then it's like everyone. It's like the only question they ask. Like that's it. It's just, what are you doing next year? It's literally like August. I'm like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like I don't know. So that is like a huge thing. And though even though everyone's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I want to do, I feel like that's pretty talked about, normalized, like to not know what you want to do, especially because changing majors is like such like everyone, most people switch their major, like they don't stick to one thing. But I feel like the fact of the pressure of it hitting literally the first day of school, I did not expect. Another thing, it's like the little things about senior year. Like normally all my other years, I dressed up for like events or pictures or whatever it is, maybe like 3, 4 times throughout the year, maybe a little bit more, less, depending on the year. But senior year, if I could go back to August, I would go shopping and find 5 solid outfits that I could just wear for any occasion because it's your last everything. And so there's pictures all the time. And that's one thing that was stressful for me. That's not a big deal, obviously, but just a little side note. Um, but yeah, there's so many different things, like making sure you have all your credits. And oh, this is another thing. And this actually really made me mad that no one else was talking about it because I applied to 28 schools, which obviously is not normal, nowhere near average. Like, that's ridiculous. Don't ask me why I did it. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't even tell you while I was doing it why I was doing it. Like, I just didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was like, okay, I'll, like dip my feet in everywhere and just see what I like. Who knows? But honestly, a waste of my time. But it's okay because, okay, backtrack a little bit. I obviously told my parents, I'm like, I'm not going to college. I don't want to go to college. Like, there's one thing I know, it's that I don't want to go to college. And so my parents got me like a tutor, like an SAT college app tutor. So I guess it was nice, but like I was also like, it just was really draining for me because it's all I was doing. That was literally my whole life from like September to mid-February. That was my entire life. I spent hours on college applications. And like, yeah, I had a tutor, I had help. She's amazing. Love her so much. But that doesn't take away from all the work that I had to do. Like, I had help, but I also was doing 28 applications, which is literally not even funny. It's ridiculous. But even when you're just doing like 3 or 4, it's so stressful and nobody talks about it. Everyone's going through the like application together, even with the UCs, right? I'm in Arizona. So with California, it's like you would expect like a lot of people are applying there still. No one talked about it. I brought it up in one of my classes and suddenly like 4 other people in my class were like, oh yeah, I am. Like, I'm applying. And I'm like, what? It was the longest application. You wrote so many essays and just no one was talking about it, which is just so random and weird. Like, I really expected people to like talk about it. And also, I think it just makes it easier when like your peers are like, oh yeah, I'm doing that too. Cause it's like, it's not just you, like everyone's going through that same horrible college application process. But the college application process sucks. You need so much information on like where your parents went to school, when they graduated, when your siblings are going to graduate, where they go to school, just every little thing. And then you have to get like your community college, if you did like dual enrollment, you have to get like a transcript from there. You have to talk to your counselor about their like recommendation letter. You have to get teachers to do your recommendation letter. Like, it's just like, it's never ending with that process. It was the best thing ever when I finally finished, but it was really awful and no one talks about that. But there's just so many things that make senior year so hard. And everyone talks about senioritis, like, yeah, you don't want to do anything. But when you're actually in it, it's not just, oh, I don't want to do anything, so I haven't been doing my work. It's like, okay, I'm not doing anything, which is stressing me out. And then I'm stressed out, but there's so much to do that I don't even know where to start. So then I'm not doing anything. And then like your mentality is just like, okay, now that I have no motivation, but now that I have no motivation, I feel like shit about myself because I'm not doing anything productive. It's just like more comes with that. It's not just like, oh yeah, like school's easy and I just don't want to do it. And like, it's fine. I'll figure it out. Like, no, like it's just so stressful and just like mentally, you're like, I cannot get up and do this. I cannot do this. And luckily, I've had a pretty light schedule. I have Spanish, dance, English, and then 1 semester of econ, 1 semester of government. I really recommend like doing a math over the summer or something so you don't have to do it senior year, because that was a huge thing that has stressed people out this year that I haven't had to deal with, luckily. But things like that, everyone's like, oh my gosh, I need to do APs, I need to do this, I need to do that. No, you don't. It is not worth it. Whatever you want to do that you're just doing it for the looks of it or for your like weighted GPA or for college, unless you're trying to go to like Stanford or something, even then, I personally, this is just my opinion. I know a lot of people would disagree or agree with me, but I just don't think it's worth it. Another thing, so I should have probably said this at the beginning, but I'm going to NYU now. Don't even ask me how that happened because I don't know. Like, I don't know how that is a thing. I still haven't accepted it or processed it. So I don't know, which I'll talk about that more later. But everyone's like, is it your dream school? How'd you get in? Oh my gosh. I like, this is my dream school. What do I do? Help me. I'm like, number one piece of advice, do not have a dream school. Whatever you do not have a dream school. And again, everything I'm saying, this is just my personal opinion about everything. Obviously, you don't need to listen to this. But I have found that the people who had a dream school ended up being very disappointed because, just for a little like example and reference, I got into NYU just like 12% acceptance rate, even less for the school I got into. And I got denied from Ohio State with an over 50% acceptance rate. Make it make sense? It doesn't. I also got like a weird thing from Penn State where I would have to do the first 2 years off campus. So, or at a weird campus. So just you really having a dream school, it's like a recipe for you being let down. And another thing is a lot of people base like their worth and their like intelligence off of what colleges they're getting into. And I think that's a horrible path to go down because you will fall deep into that hole of being like, I am like, what did I do this for all 4 years? And like, am I really stupid? And then you find out other people got into the school you didn't, and you're like, okay, wow, like what did I do wrong? Like, what am I doing wrong? Like, am I as a person wrong? Because also, your essays are so personal, it can feel like a personal attack when you don't get in, right? So a lot of people, they're like, I poured my heart and soul into that. Like, I really like it because it's like, it's not just my numbers can get me in. It's like, okay, my essay, who I am as a person can get me in. And so I know that can be hard for a lot of people. I luckily didn't struggle with that too much just because I didn't care enough because I didn't even want to go. But I'm sure if I really did care, then it would have upset me more when I didn't get in or waitlisted. But I have a whole spreadsheet, and it's honestly at a certain point, it was just like not embarrassing, like I was embarrassed, but like it's like, oh haha, that's embarrassing. Like move on next. Like it's just like there's no other word for it. When I would open it and get waitlisted again or denied again and waitlisted and waitlisted and waitlisted and waitlisted over and over and over, I was just like, that's embarrassing. Next, haha, like laugh at it. I don't care. I didn't want to go there anyways. Like it's just a long, slow, difficult process, and it just feels like it never ends, just the whole college application and then opening them, and then it's like it's just it's a lot. And the other thing is me not going wanting to go to college. I literally, okay, I'm going to keep this forever. I have a notes document in my phone called Stupid People. Like the little bold at the top just says stupid people. And I just wrote down all the quotes that I heard, and I'm just going to read some of them because I still get angry looking at these because it's like no matter who you are, where you come from, your relationship to a person, it's it's really it's not your place to ever in any situation, any topic, to put someone down for what they want to do and to tell someone that they're not going to make it and that they're like literally the fact that it's like no, you're never going to be able to do that. And I think the weirdest thing for me was that I've always followed like just like the typical path of a good student. Like I am very independent. I get good grades. I don't do like drugs. I don't drink and party and like I like don't I'm not like boy crazy. I have good friends. Like I'm like I surround myself by good people. Like I do good in school. Like just all around like I would say I'm an amazing kid. Um so I've never really gotten that criticism where it's like, you'll never be able to do that. Oh my gosh, wow. Like from adults and like people like that, it's always been like, oh wow, you're so amazing. Oh my gosh, you got straight A's. Oh my gosh, like whatever. It's always just been like good things because I'm a good kid and I'm a good student, I'm a good daughter, I'm a good sister, whatever. But then when it came to me being like, I'm not going to college and I don't want to go to college and I know I will be successful without it. And I want to do real estate, not for my entire life, but I want to start with that. I want to make money. I want to be financially independent, like whatever. I heard things that I never ever thought I would hear. And I know in people's success stories, they're like, oh, wow, like everyone told me I wouldn't do it and then I did and I was like okay yeah like whatever, but I've never had to experience that, like I've never gone through it. And so just like hearing these things like actually come out of people's mouth, I was like baffled. Like I could not believe someone would say that to me, especially some of the people like being such close people in my life. I'm like, wow, like you are supposed to be the person who supports me the most out of anybody, and you're sitting here telling me that I will never be successful and I'm making a horrible decision and I will never make it. And then they're like, no, 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 but I believe in you. And I'm like, what do you mean you believe in me? You just sat here telling me like how horrible I would do and that I'm being stupid and like whatever. What also bothered me a lot was when people are like, oh, you're just 18, you don't get it yet. I'm like, you can say that all you want, but I know that my mind and my mindset is very mature and I can think for myself and I know me and who I am more than anyone else will ever know me and who I am. So I can make that decision for myself. And also the unsolicited advice just got so annoying. Like I really it just got old. Like defending yourself and like whatever over and over just gets so old and it just gets to a certain point where like I can't take this anymore. And that was literally one of the hardest parts about my year because it's not that I believed any of these people. I still, if I decide I don't want to go to college and do real estate, I will kill it. Like there's no question about it. Like I will kill it. That's just who I am. Whatever I choose to do, I will be amazing at. And I know that for a fact. It's not a question. Like it's not. It's a statement. And so just hearing these people say that, it wasn't that I started doubting myself because I never did. I will never doubt myself. I know I'm amazing and will do amazing things. But hearing that from people is just like really like it's just kind of like a shot to the heart. You're like, dang, like what do you mean? Like, you know me the best, and you're telling me I'm going to be bad at something. Like, should I believe you? And so that was really hard. This year just mentally has been hard. And I think even for people that are like, yeah, I'm going here, whatever, just the idea that it's like, okay, I'm graduating, everything I've ever known, I'm leaving. Like, I'm still processing it. I graduate, it's May 4th, and I graduate the 19th, and my last day of school is the 13th, and finals and everything ends the 13th. And I still don't know how to feel. And I'm always the person to give advice to everyone else and like tell you exactly how to feel and what your mindset should be. But I still like, this is the one thing, like, I just can't figure it out. Like, I don't know what I should be feeling because I'm excited, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm not excited. Like, it's literally every single emotion, but it's like, it's not like I'm sad sleep, but not really. Like I wouldn't choose to stay another year if I had the option. But like at the same time, I'm like scared to leave. And like I love change. I feel like I thrive in change. And when I'm challenged, even though it can be hard, I always thrive in that setting. But it's just weird because I'm just like being pushed into it. And I also have had this entire year, unfortunately, to have to think about graduation because everything about senior year is anticipating graduation and it sucks. It sucks. Like it is so hard and nobody talks about that. But anyways, I want to read some of my quotes from my stupid people note because I just went off on a tangent. Okay. Oh, I told people like, yeah, I'm gonna start in luxury real estate because I am. And when I do real estate, I will start in luxury. Hopefully I do it. I really want to do it. We'll see when I get to New York how it is. I'll probably take the first year to just adjust and like live my life, live my best life in New York City. But everyone was like, you think you're going to start in luxury real estate? And I was like, yeah, I am. And it's also like reading these things, it sounds one way, but sitting there listening to like your close relatives tell you these things was just a whole different experience. Okay. Um, oh, everyone was trying to tell me real estate is really inconsistent and I can't make money, which I think is just hilarious because they clearly don't know. That's what I thought was so funny. In my Spanish class, a bunch of people were like, yeah, no one wants to buy a house right now because they're too expensive. I'm like, you have to be stupid. Like, I'm sorry. Like, what are you saying right now? Like, no. Like, and it's not just like those people, it's everyone who tried to tell me things. I'm like, if you're going to speak on something and put me down, then know what you're saying because that is not true. The reason the houses are so expensive is because the demand is so high. That's why. Just because the people you know don't want to buy a house does not mean that there's not a huge demand, probably bigger than it's ever been in the history of ever for real estate. So I thought that was funny. Oh, you're trying to start life too early. You're going to regret it. So, another thing was I told people that I don't want to ever have to go through that phase where it's like you just got out of college and you don't know what you're doing. You don't have a job. Like you're about to graduate. You don't have a job. You have no money. You have to start paying your own bills. Because in my family, the way it works is my parents say as long as you're in school, we'll pay for you. But when you graduate, like you're on your own, which is definitely a hard transition. And I never want to have to face like the stress of that, like going from like being financially supported my whole life to like, okay, you graduated, like have fun. Because right now I'm graduating and just like the pure like mental state of where I am with graduating, I could not deal with the fact that I would have to find like a big girl job and like somehow like pay my rent and whatever all at once. So I told someone, I don't even remember who, but I think it was like a family member or whatever, that like I want to start real estate now. I want to make money now while I'm 18 and not wait until I'm 22 to do anything with my life. I don't want to sit at college and party and barely do school and party more and go to football games. That is not what I want. And yeah. And so one person was like, "Oh, so you really think you're never going to have to worry about bills?" Because I think people's main point was like, you're going to grow up and realize how much it sucks being an adult. But my thing is like, I don't want my life to suck more as I get older. I want it to get better and better. I want to have more financial freedom. I want to travel the world. I want to do whatever I want to do. I want to have enough money to the point where I don't have to worry about it, where I can donate, where I can give back to the community, where I can start businesses to help people and not just have to start businesses like needing money from them. Things like that. Like, I want to live my best life. I want to live the life that I choose to live. And I don't want money to be the thing holding back from that. I don't want like being an adult to be something that I'm scared of or like dreading, because that's literally awful. Why would I dread my future that I'm about to have? So I think that was a big part of people's like point is like go to college because like you only have 4 more years being a kid and like being an adult sucks, which definitely no, I don't think being an adult has to suck. Um, well, of course you think you want to start life now because you're 18. Okay. Um, I've never met a successful real estate agent. I just laughed at that. Um, oh, I'm not even going to get into some of these, but I had a conversation with someone where I have never been put down more in my life about anything. The things that this person was saying were like actually disgusting. Like I would never want to relive that conversation, and it was honestly disgusting, like the things being said. But I think people hear that I don't want to go to college and immediately it's just like, you're awful. You're like a disappointment to your family. You're this, you're that. You're never going to be successful. People just, this is what they do in general in life. And this is also a huge takeaway that I've learned from senior year and just high school in general. Everybody likes to put you in a box. They hear something about you, immediately box, like immediately, like not even a second. They look at you, you're put in a box. They hear about your like social status, you're in a box. They hear about like where you are financially, you're in a box. Whatever it is, that's what people like to do. And so people hear, I don't want to go to college, and immediately I'm in that box because people are closed minded and they don't have big dreams. And that's fine. That's their issue. But I think the thing where it goes wrong and is really messed up is when they try to push their own insecurities and knowing they could never do it onto you. And it's especially embarrassing when it's a full grown adult and you're 17, literally. But the point of this is that somehow now I'm going to NYU. I don't know. But I did fall in love with the campus, and I don't know how excited I am right now, but I'm sure I will love it when I get there. I was really excited when I was there in New York, but it could have just been all like the new, like, oh my gosh, I finally decided. But I don't know. It's just felt like so forced and it still doesn't feel real. So I'm not that excited for college, even though I'm literally going to NYU. Don't ask me how I can't be excited. I don't know. It's just not something that I like wake up every day and I'm like, oh my gosh, yay, I'm going to NYU, which is kind of sad, but it's okay. It's just been forced on me this whole year. And I feel like I've just had like an identity switch because this whole year I was very sure that I did not want to go to college and I don't want to go to college. And so it just feels like I'm doing it for other people in a way. But I did really love New York and I could see myself thriving there. I think it has everything I could ever want. Everything I said I didn't want about college and that I would like, all the pros and cons NYU like checked off. Like the cons of college that I didn't want, NYU doesn't have, and the pros of college that I did want, NYU has, and more. And it's just amazing because it's not the typical college experience. You can be an adult, you can start your life, you can have internships and connections and start a business, whatever it is. Like it's literally the city of opportunities. So I'm very excited for that and to kind of start my life and not feel like I have 4 more years of a glorified high school and more partying and drugs and football games and sharing a tiny little room with someone. So yeah, but don't ever let anybody put you in a box. People will try your whole life to put you in a box, and just know you're the only person who knows who you are, and other people can say what they want to say, but you live in your body 24/7. So you know yourself. Don't ever let another person's opinion of you affect you, because who would know you better than you yourself? And the other thing is, for anyone going into senior year, or you're a senior, or you're just younger and listening to this, there are times in life where it's really hard and everyone's going through it, but they still don't want to talk about it. Just know whatever you're going through, you are not alone. And as long as you have yourself in life, you're good. But yeah, senior year is a very hard. It's a very hard, and no one talks about it. So as exciting as it is, and all the events and all the laughs, and you're graduating, moving on, it's very hard and it's difficult to process mentally. So just prepare yourself for that, because I think I would have been a lot better off if I had known and someone told me that and I was more prepared for it. So yeah, that's all. Thank you so much for listening. I love doing these so much. And I hope everyone has a great day or night or whenever you're watching this. Bye.